Whether you like this video or not, stick around for a dorky joke and subscribe. On this episode, we are going to answer the question, how much of us is made up of stardust? To start off with, stardust? Say, what? What is stardust? It's not like stars are fairies that wander around and shake their behinds at you so you have magical flight. No, this is more the particles and pieces of stars that are violently tossed throughout the entire universe and become galaxies, people, cats, always have to throw in cats, and other stuff. So then, what's the big deal? Isn't there one great big universe out there? Aren't the pieces of humans coming from the Earth which came from the universe itself? Well, actually, after the Big Bang, the universe began to cool really quickly. During that cooling process, hydrogen and helium were the only elements able to form on our gigantically long periodic table of elements. Just the first two, that's it. No more, no less. More could have formed, but the universe cooled super quickly and spread out super fast, so there wasn't just enough time or pressure to make anything else. Pressure is going to be super important as we come to find out. Somewhere later, about 30 million years later, according to at least the most current computer models, stars start to form up. So bunches of hydrogen start smashing into one another and group up. They bounce off of one another and start getting super hot. And when a lot of them are together, they're also creating tons of gravity. Why is this important, you ask? Picture a balloon. I'm blowing it up, and you're the jerk who's coming around and pushing on the outsides of it, trying to prevent it from getting bigger. In this case, me blowing on it is the force created by the pressure of all these bouncing around things inside of the star, namely the hydrogen. They collide a bunch, and that pressurized environment keeps the star from actually collapsing in on itself from gravity, but it also becomes helium as they bounce around. Then they become carbon and so on up to iron. Until iron, that pressure has created all the particles bouncing around inside of the star enough to cause the atoms to fuse and still bounce around, aiding in the pressure that keeps building up. Eventually, some stars will collapse, sometimes before they get to iron. But even if they get to iron, that's it. Gravity wins. The jerk pushing on the edges of the balloon finally is able to cause a sudden collapse. When this collapse occurs, we can get supernovas, which are violent and cause a lot more crashing into one another of all of these elements, causing them to break up. And that's how we get heavier elements. So we owe pretty much all of our body, except for hydrogen, to the stars. By the numbers, humans are about 60% hydrogen and 40% everything else. That hydrogen is mostly bonded to oxygen to make water, but it's the majority in terms of raw numbers of elements. But if you go by mass, because hydrogen is so light, we're only 7% hydrogen, 93% everything else. I really like this idea of being stardust though. It connects us all, showing that we are all essentially the same residue of a star's death throes from some time long ago in a galaxy probably far away. So the next time you think less of someone, or you think that by the color of their skin they're so very different to you, think again. We're all just stardust. Well, mostly anyways, if you think in terms of mass. This episode's dorky joke. Why did the chicken cross the road, roll around in some mud, and cross the road again? Because it's a dirty double crosser. Till next time.